A man becomes rich when he ceases to be a slave to his passions. Seneca. Before we begin, here's a small ritual. Write in the comments one word that accurately describes your current state. Sign it, and let's get started. You live in an age where everything is designed to seduce you into quick pleasures. Social media, endless videos, pornography, an infinite stream of stimulation that promises satisfaction but leaves nothing behind but emptiness. The truth is brutal. The easier the pleasure, the deeper the emptiness that follows. Each time you surrender to it, you are not simply wasting minutes of your life. You are teaching your nervous system to crave shortcuts instead of building the strength to endure the long road toward real success. Pornography is the clearest example of this trap. It gives you the illusion of intimacy without ever asking you to grow, to face rejection, to risk, to conquer. It trains your body to respond to images instead of reality, to pixels instead of people. And slowly, without you noticing, it makes you incapable of pursuing what you truly want. Because the real world does not bend to your impulses. The real world demands patience, effort, persistence. And when your nervous system has been rewired by easy dopamine, you cannot stay with the struggle long enough to create something meaningful. This is why pornography destroys ambition. It does not simply waste time, it robs you of the inner fire that could move mountains. You begin to want quick results not only in sex, but in everything. You lose the ability to endure discomfort. You lose the resilience needed to build wealth, relationships, mastery. Every goal that requires consistent effort feels impossible because your brain has been trained to expect instant relief. And this is why, no matter how many books you read or how many techniques you try, nothing changes because you are still leaking the very fuel that could power your transformation. If you are honest, you already feel the truth of this. You know the weakness that follows the so-called release. You know the dullness that lingers in your body. You know the emptiness of watching hours pass with nothing created, nothing achieved, nothing real. And you have felt the shame that comes with it. The shame of betraying yourself again and again. The shame of becoming smaller than you were meant to be. But here is the other side of that truth. The very energy you are wasting is the most powerful force you possess. Sexual energy is not only about reproduction or pleasure, it is the raw life force that fuels creation, ambition, vision. When it is dissipated through compulsive habits, you are left hollow. When it is contained, it rises through you, sharpening your focus, intensifying your drive, awakening your deepest potential. What you are seeking, wealth, happiness, recognition, cannot come from running after cheap pleasures. It can only come from harnessing the very force you have been taught to waste. This may sound harsh, but most psychologists will not tell you this. They will talk about moderation, balance, self-acceptance. But what you need is not more excuses. What you need is the truth. Pornography is not harmless, and it is not neutral. It is a weapon against your power. And as long as you allow yourself to remain enslaved to it, every dream will remain out of reach. If these words resonate with you, subscribe to this channel. That simple act matters because algorithms will then show this truth to others who are trapped in the same cycle. Join the Telegram community as well because transformation is not meant to be faced alone. And if you are ready to go further, become a sponsor of this channel so you can receive deeper insights and support, while also making sure this message reaches more people who need it. Most people live inside illusions that keep them weak. They believe pornography is just entertainment, nothing serious. just a way to relax. They believe quick pleasures are harmless, that they can enjoy them and still achieve their goals. But the truth is very different. Pornography is not neutral. It rewires your brain at the deepest level. Every time you consume it, your nervous system learns that reward should come instantly, without struggle, without risk. And the more you train yourself this way, the less capable you become of enduring reality, which never gives anything immediately. This is why so many men find themselves stuck. They set goals, they start projects, they promise themselves a new beginning. But after a few days of effort, they quit. They tell themselves they lack motivation, that they need better strategies, that something is wrong with them. But what is wrong is simple. Their brain has been hijacked. They are no longer able to tolerate the boredom, the repetition, the discomfort that real growth demands. When you are used to pressing a button and getting instant stimulation, why would you fight through months or years of persistence for results? Pornography creates a false world where you are always in control. You choose the scene, the actor, the timing, the fantasy. Reality never works that way. In the real world, intimacy requires vulnerability, patience, rejection, and effort. Success requires delayed gratification, resilience, and faith. Pornography strips you of all these capacities because it conditions you to live inside fantasy, where nothing is earned and everything is fake. This is why so many men who consume it heavily struggle with relationships, with careers, with self-respect. They do not lack intelligence or potential. They lack discipline because their system has been trained to expect shortcuts. The cruelest illusion is the idea that you can balance both worlds, that you can keep indulging in pornography and still rise to your highest potential. That is the lie sold by those who profit from your weakness. They want you distracted, drained, dependent. Because a man who cannot control his own energy cannot threaten any system. He becomes predictable, manageable, easily manipulated. And deep inside, he knows it. He feels the shame of not living up to his potential, the silent anger at himself for surrendering again and again. This is why positive thinking and surface-level therapy often fail. They try to put new ideas on top of a broken foundation. But when your nervous system is addicted to instant dopamine, no mantra or motivational phrase can help you. You are not lazy, and you are not broken. You are simply trapped in a cycle that was designed to keep you small. And the only way out is to break that cycle completely. You may resist hearing this. You may want to believe moderation is enough, but moderation only works with forces that are neutral. This force is not neutral. It is corrosive. It eats away at your willpower, your patience, your very sense of self. And until you confront it directly, you will continue to wonder why nothing works, why your goals never stick, why you always feel empty no matter how much you consume. The truth is harsh, but it is also liberating, because once you see the mechanism clearly, you are no longer powerless. You understand that the reason your dreams feel impossible is not because you are weak, but because your energy has been stolen by a system that thrives on your emptiness. And once you begin to reclaim that energy, everything changes. Sexual energy is the most misunderstood force in human life. Most people reduce it to a function of pleasure or reproduction. But in truth, it is the raw current that fuels creation, ambition, and transformation. Freud called it libido and saw it as the central engine of the psyche, the hidden power that shapes dreams, behavior, and desire. Jung went even further, seeing sexual energy not just as physical, but as archetypal, a reservoir of life force that, when directed inward, awakens creativity, vision, and the higher self. When this energy is wasted compulsively, you are left depleted. When it is contained, it rises through the body and fuels every aspect of your existence. You may not realize it, but every great act of human achievement, from art to science to leadership, has been born from the redirection of this same energy. The hunger that drives you to chase pleasure is the same hunger that, when refined, drives you to build, to conquer, to create. The problem is not that you have desire. The problem is that you have been trained to waste it on illusions. Pornography hijacks the archetype of union, turning it into endless fragments of fantasy. Instead of pursuing real connection or building real power, you disperse your essence into a screen. And with every release, the fire that could have been used to shape your destiny leaks away unnoticed. This is why the path of restraint has been honored in every tradition, not because pleasure is evil, but because power is finite. When you scatter it, you live small. When you gather it, you become magnetic. Your eyes sharpen, your presence deepens, your voice carries weight. People feel something different around you, though they cannot explain it. This is not mystical, it is biological. Retention alters your hormones, raising testosterone, increasing dopamine receptor sensitivity, sharpening focus and motivation. It is science confirming what ancient wisdom always knew. If you guard your energy, it will build inside you until it transforms into strength, creativity, and clarity. Think of your energy as capital. Every time you indulge, you spend. At first, it feels good, but the account drains quickly. Soon, you have nothing left to invest in your work, your growth, your relationships. But when you hold it, when you save it, when you refuse to spend it on empty illusions, it compounds. It grows like interest in the background, fueling your drive, your confidence, your will. This is why the longer you retain, the more unstoppable you feel, because your system is no longer leaking. Most people will never experience this because they never last long enough. They relapse after a few days, thinking it makes no difference. But the difference begins immediately. In the first week, your energy starts to stabilize. In the first month, your mind grows sharper. After several months, the transformation is undeniable. And after a year, you are no longer the same man. You are forged into something entirely different. This is the hidden mechanism that psychologists rarely tell you. The strength you are searching for is already inside you, waiting for you to stop betraying it. This may sound radical, but it is the only path that has ever worked. You cannot build greatness while leaking your essence. You cannot find happiness while enslaved to illusions. You cannot achieve respect while hiding in shame. The decision is simple. Either you remain a consumer of fantasies, or you become a master of your own force. And that choice is made every single time you face the urge. When you stop wasting your sexual energy, transformation does not happen all at once. It unfolds in stages, each one deeper than the last. In the first 10 days, you notice the chaos in your mind begin to calm. The constant fog that used to cloud your thoughts starts to lift, and your focus sharpens. Your body feels more alive, as if it is storing fuel instead of burning out. The temptation may still be strong, but beneath it, there is a growing sense of strength, a faint awareness that you are no longer controlled by an outside force. After 1 month, the difference becomes undeniable. Your confidence begins to rise, not because of anything external, but because you feel whole inside. You start to notice people responding to you differently. Your presence carries a weight that was not there before. Your eyes hold a steadiness, your voice carries a deeper tone, and without trying, you begin to attract more respect. The same energy that once drained you is now radiating outward, shaping the way the world perceives you. By the third month, the transformation reaches a new level. Your energy no longer surges in chaotic bursts. It becomes stable, constant, dependable. You begin to channel it into work, into goals, into creation. Where before you would get distracted or give up quickly, now you find yourself enduring, staying with tasks until they are complete. The impatience that pornography trained into your system begins to dissolve, replaced with patience and clarity. You start to realize that the dreams you once thought were impossible are now within reach, because you finally have the discipline to stay the course. At 6 months, the changes are profound. You are no longer the same person who once chased quick relief. Your emotional stability increases, your relationships deepen, and you carry yourself with an authority that others cannot ignore. The fire within you no longer burns out in moments of weakness. It grows steadily, fueling your ambitions. You begin to see opportunities you never noticed before, because your mind is no longer clouded by shame and distraction. The habits that once enslaved you now seem childish beneath you, unworthy of the man you have become. After 1 year, the transformation is complete. You are no longer a slave to illusions. You are a creator of reality. The energy you once wasted now moves through every part of your life, sharpening your vision, intensifying your will, expanding your influence. People sense about it when they meet you. They cannot explain why, but they feel drawn to your presence, because you carry the rare force of someone who has mastered himself. Wealth, happiness, recognition, all of it becomes possible, not because you chased it directly, but because you mastered the root of power, your own energy. This is why the journey matters. Every stage builds on the last. Every day of retention is an investment in the man you are becoming. The process is not easy, and the urges will fight to pull you back into old habits. But every moment of discipline is carving out a stronger self. And the longer you endure, the more you realize that what once felt impossible is now your new normal. Knowing the truth is not enough. You need tools that keep you steady when the urge strikes, when the old habits call you back, when your mind whispers excuses. The first tool is awareness of triggers. You must learn to observe the exact moments when the desire arises, the loneliness, the boredom, the stress. Instead of moving automatically, you pause and see the pattern. Once you see it, you can break it. Awareness is the first weapon, because without it, you are blind, repeating the same cycle again and again. The second tool is daily focus on a higher goal. Retention is not about repression, it is about redirection. You must give your energy somewhere to flow. Each morning, write down the single mission that matters most to you and channel your drive toward it. When your body urges you to waste energy, you remind yourself, this force is meant for building, not for leaking. The moment you tie your energy to purpose, the urge becomes fuel instead of a trap. The third tool is physical discipline. Your body is the container of this energy, and it demands strength. Train it, move it, sweat, and feel the power rise through your muscles. Exercise is not only about health, it is about teaching your nervous system to handle intensity without collapsing. Every rep, every set, every drop of sweat is a message to your body. We are no longer fragile. We are no longer slaves to weakness. When your body is strong, your urges cannot dominate you as easily. The fourth tool is creative transmutation. This energy is not meant to be suppressed. It is meant to be expressed. Write, paint, build, study, create. Every time you transform the raw fire into something tangible, you step closer to mastery. This is why so many great artists, inventors, and leaders spoke of chastity or restraint. It was not morality, it was power. They knew that genius comes from the same source as desire, and if you learn to channel it, your life becomes a work of art. The fifth tool is community. You cannot walk this road alone forever. Isolation is dangerous, because in silence, the old voices grow louder. You need people who are walking the same path, people who remind you of your commitment when you feel weak. A community is not about perfection. It is about shared truth, about knowing you are not the only one fighting. When you see others rising, you rise too. Together, the discipline becomes lighter, the struggle becomes meaningful, the path becomes clear. These tools are not theories. They are weapons to be used daily. Retention is a battle between the part of you that wants comfort and the part of you that seeks greatness. Without tools, comfort always wins. With them, you become stronger every day. The urges will not disappear, but your relationship with them will change. They will no longer control you. They will serve you. And each time you resist, each time you redirect, you carve the shape of the man who does not chase illusions but builds reality. You are not the first to discover the power of retention. Throughout history, men who shaped the world understood that mastery of sexual energy was mastery of life itself. Ancient warriors practiced discipline not to repress desire, but to forge strength. Monks, philosophers, and inventors spoke of chastity not as moral law, but as a path to clarity. Even today, some of the most influential voices, entrepreneurs, athletes, creators, openly speak about how restraining from constant release sharpened their vision, intensified their drive, and gave them an edge others could never reach. They knew something simple. The man who owns his energy owns his future. Science confirms what tradition always knew. Studies show that retention can increase testosterone, leading to greater confidence, motivation, and physical vitality. Dopamine receptors reset, making you more sensitive to natural rewards instead of artificial highs. Brain scans reveal how excessive pornography consumption dulls the reward system, while abstinence restores it, giving you back the ability to enjoy real life. These are not mystical claims. They are biological facts. When you stop leaking energy, your system begins to repair itself, and the changes are visible in mood, body, and ambition. Modern voices echo the same truth. Popular creators online speak openly about their journeys of quitting pornography and practicing retention. They describe the surge of energy, the magnetic presence, the deeper respect they earn from others. Athletes credit discipline over sexual energy as fuel for their performance. Leaders talk about how it gave them focus and the ability to endure. These are not isolated stories. They are patterns repeating across cultures and generations. The details differ, but the conclusion remains the same. Restraining from waste creates power. But with all this evidence, one truth must remain clear. This is your choice. Nobody can force discipline on you. Nobody can live your life. You must decide whether you continue giving your strength away for nothing, or whether you gather it to build a future that reflects who you truly are. Retention is not about rules. It is about reclaiming what is already yours. It is about saying no to illusions, so you can finally say yes to your destiny. If you accept this, you realize that what you are fighting is not just a habit. It is an entire system designed to keep you small. Pornography industries profit from your weakness. Algorithms profit from your distraction. Corporations profit from your passivity. The moment you stop playing their game, you reclaim not just your body, but your autonomy. That is why this path is both deeply personal and profoundly revolutionary. The man who controls his sexual energy is no longer a slave. He becomes dangerous, free, untouchable. This is why restraint is feared and mocked by those who do not understand it. They call it repression. They call it old-fashioned. They call it unnecessary. But those who practice it know the truth. It is the foundation of greatness. It is the secret that most will never dare to test, because it demands courage, patience, and strength. And that is why those who commit to it rise above the rest, leaving behind the crowd still chasing empty pleasures. The modern world is drowning in addictions. Look around. Porn addiction, online addiction, physical addiction, mental addiction. Everywhere you turn, chains disguised as pleasure. The question is simple. Do you want to carry yet another chain, or do you want to be free? If these words strike something inside you, subscribe to this channel, join the Telegram community, become a sponsor, and write in the comments, "I choose freedom." This is only the beginning.